Yo, what's up? I'm Jimmy. I've helped counsel over 450 men, and today this is designed to be a super long course where I ramble on. So thank you for clicking. If you're committed to this, it's sit down with a notepad. I got my protein water because I haven't quite hit my macros for the day, and let's get into it. So I'll preface all of this. You don't have to worry about the screen just yet. Focus on me. We're problem finding machines. We can easily discover what is wrong with our lives. We can harp on and worry and stress about all these things, but we cannot see the positives. We cannot see what we've got to do, what we're working on, where we're headed, what direction we're going on. We can't see the solution to problems. So let's do the old Charlie Munger, the old Albert Einstein. Inverse the problem. Let's just find the problems. Find the problems in our life. Find the problems that we're headed towards. Find what would make us shit, what would make us a loser. So the ultimate goal here is to find happiness. We're trying to discover this untangible item of happiness, the opposite being depression. So you're either happy or you're depressed, right? At extreme ends. There's obviously a large continuum that we exist in the middle, but for the sake of argument, we're going to act as if there are only two possible solutions to all of this. I want to be happy or I want to be depressed. Good, bad, winning, losing. No in between. So let's sort of define happiness here, because there is not an easy way to easily distinguish what we're seeking here. Like, we know what depression looks like, we know how ugly it can be, but what we're looking for isn't really definable. And I'll use sort of a metaphor for how we're going to go about this and how I've broken down these massive amount of problems. You have to bear with me because I don't have a mouse. All these problems into easy identifiable solutions, because we found what the problem is. So if we just avoid the problem, we can work towards the solution. So if you wanted to be funny, what the fuck is someone that's funny? Well, they're probably great comedic timing, they're probably knowledgeable, they're probably trivial, they probably understand quite a lot of nuance in conversations, they're probably confident when they speak. All these lots of little things that they can package up into an idea that is funny. If you wanted to look better and attract more women, well, if I just went around saying, well, how do I actually attract women? That's impossible, I can't fucking do that. Well, you'd work on your speaking, you'd work on your looks, you'd groom yourself a bit better, you would spend more time at the gym. Like, all these things will eventually deliver you to look better to then achieve the outcome. So that's what we're doing here. We're going to have a long fucking discussion about all the things that I would do if I was going to speed run depression in 2025. And the preface to all this, the nuance of the internet skips, we're talking about life-changing, altering small habits that you can do to avoid hitting that plateau, hitting that void, because there are obviously mental issues that can occur. You can fall into depression. Depression's real. We're just going to do our best to live a meaningful life to try and avoid it as best as possible. Human traumas, mental imbalances, all these things can lead to a deep, dark path that professional help and all other things we can work towards getting out of that. That's not my field. So if you did want to book a call on these type of problems that can get you out, I've got links in the description. I work with men online and in person. No plug in here. So let's get the fuck into it. I've spent the day reverse fucking engineering the problem of depression. So we're going to break down into all of these things. Depression isn't random, it's engineered. So the misconceptions, so we're going to get rid of the freak accidents and the sudden heaviness, but it's a gradual construction. Small choices, small habits, things that we're avoiding that we shouldn't be. So there's components, with sticking with the blueprint theme here, there's nails, beams, walls, all of it comes into one big package of you being depressed. Like, you could be happy or you could be funny, you fall into this little structure. Realization, truth of engineering, building it, again, and then we'll go through some anecdotal stories. That's the step one of it all. We're going to jump down to sort of the tangible items, the things that all the bro science is going to tell you to do, and then claim that it's going to fix your life. Jump in an ice bath, you'll be better, kind of thing. We're going to jump through those. We're going to talk about how we'll avoid silence, how we'll multitask way too much, how we won't unplug. Then the comfort and the stuff that we all want to live in, the blissful ignorance that our lives are trudging down a path that we don't want to, and then eventually we'll unfortunately be at a path we don't want to. Let's get back up to the top. We're going to double up a bit, and we're going to avoid some discomfort. We're going to not put any effort in. We're going to make our world small. We're going to measure ourselves. This is one that I'm fucking massive on. This is where I want to talk about real quick my issues with inferiority or insecurity. We'll go back to my story for a second. So I'm 30 years old. I've done a whole bunch of fucking things in my life, from my law degree, real estate. I've had 2 kids. I'm with a beautiful wife. I live in this home that I'm currently in. I own a couple of other ones. Drive the car that I want to. Whatever fucking else. And I can still fall into these kind of traps of comparing myself to everyone else. Oh man, I've only got 624 subscribers. What the fuck am I doing with this? Like, newsflash, everyone that you see on the internet that thinks they're a millionaire, claiming that they're a millionaire, probably aren't a millionaire. But we'll get into a bit of that when we sort of work out the solutions on the other way. Withdrawals and consequences. Eating like it doesn't matter. Let me have my protein shake, all right? Eating like it doesn't matter. I've been on hard 75 for the last little while. And you can quickly see how much working towards and building and working on your body and drinking water and hydrating and working through yourself can get to it. Now, lying to yourself, this will be those anti-masculinity talks about how we're going to think about our feelings and how we're going to ruminate and how we're going to actually work through some stuff and how we're going to tackle the problems ahead of us. So I built a big, long script. If you guys want any of this, I don't know how I can send this, but there's got to be a way to jump on my Substack newsletter below and I'll get in touch. I'll probably post this on there. We'll see how we go. All right, and then we're going to go through the solutions and walkthroughs, because if we can figure out how to get there, well, then we should be able to fucking figure out how to avoid it, right? So I sort of jumped in and copywrote a document that I want to read off with a bit of a script. I want to sort of more talk about the anecdotal stories that I've got around them. So most people think that depression just happens, like a freak accident, like a light switch that flicks on one morning, all of a sudden everything's heavy, you can't do it anymore, it's all too hard. That's not how it works, right? It doesn't drop from the fucking sky. It's built like a house, like the blueprints on the thumbnail. You can quickly step through each and every step to get there. You just don't see yourself heading there. If you're putting on too much weight, you slowly get there over time. It's going to take you 2 or 3 years to put on too much weight. We can't let it get that bad. There has to be segmentations along the way that you start to realize where this is going wrong. Maybe where the house is being built too much. That's maybe a bad analogy right there. So it's built like a house. You never meant to construct it. You never saw it. You follow that garden path anyway. It's not big. It's not dramatic moments. It's lots of little small silent steps. And then you wake up 10 years later down the track, 4 years into a degree, 5 years into a job, 7 years into a marriage, and you're like, oh, fuck, this is not quite right. So it's lacking your sleep, it's skipping breakfast, it's ignoring voices to tell you to go outside, it's scrolling for too long, it's I'll do better tomorrow. You do it again and again and again. Each choice, a nail, each beam, avoidance. I went a bit hard on this building a house type of thing, so you get that point. Until one day you wake up and you're stuck inside the structure. It's not where you wanted to be, it's not where you planned your life to be, and you're sitting there thinking, how the fuck did I get here? But the brutal truth is you built it. You went along this path brick by brick with quiet tools of survival. You weren't trying to feel good, you were just trying to not feel bad. And I think that's a lot of the poison is in the current day comforts that we continue to pour upon ourselves and not look further on into the future. So it's like pouring acid into your coffee. One little drop won't hurt, but over the space of 5, 6, 7 years, all of a sudden you've accumulated way too much. You're having a can of tuna a day, you're having a little bit of mercury. If you're having it every day for 2, 3 years straight, you're probably getting mercury poisoning. So, then you wake up one day, you're in hospital, how the fuck did it happen? They can't work it out because you've done it so slowly. So, you mixed all this. Not because you're weak, not because it was hidden from you. There's no light, no sound, you didn't see it coming. So let's walk through it. Let's walk through each and every step. But real quickly, let's go through Evan. One of the gentlemen that I've worked with, perfect life. Kids, married, job. Perfect. There's literally nothing that could be wrong with him. And this is where there's potentially some mental imbalance or some other issues that could occur, but I think most of the stuff that we work through, it was just the paralysis analysis of locking into his own overthinking every single day, losing motivation because he's sort of thinks he's got it all. He might start comparing, spiraling. What are they doing? How are they doing it? How are they further ahead than I am? Lack of gratitude in there somewhere. Not because anything went wrong, but because nothing challenged him. And I think men need continually to chase the kill. Eventually we fall into depression if there is no meaning, no purpose. And obviously modern day masculinity, femininity has sort of pulled us into this weird space where we're not needed. There is no point for us. So what the fuck do we do? Continue to build our own house in a far better constructive environment. So the first step, this one's a bit more woo-woo, but flood your mind with noise. Wake up, reach over, don't think, grab that iPhone, start scrolling. No sunlight. I don't want you guys to breathe properly. I don't even want you guys to feel the fucking blankets under your legs. You're just going to scroll. What dopamine can you find? What outrage is there today that you have to fucking see and comment back on Twitter? Oh, this happened in the Middle East. Oh, that happened in the United States. Oh, that person of color did this. Who the fuck cares? Nope, because we're in blueprints of how to get yourself there. So no filter, no water, just flood yourself. Get ready, make sure your attention's divided. You haven't woken up and said good morning to your partner. You haven't, maybe you got to message someone that you want to talk to or speak with. You just let it enrage you. Next thing you know, you've spent 35 minutes on the hub, you spent 35 minutes on Reddit, you spent 35 minutes on Twitter, you're late for work, you've got to get up and go to the gym, you're probably getting a bit too late, you're thinking about skipping it, all this fucking stuff. Just flood your mind. That'll do it, right? Silence might help you center yourself. So don't fucking do that. Don't get up in the morning and walk. Don't listen to music. Don't listen to podcasts when you're at the gym. Like, just make sure your attention is always divided. Multitask your life to death. Whilst I'm doing this, I should be sitting there messaging my mates. I should be listening to some music. I should be doing something else. I should have a zin in my mouth. Whatever it is, just keep doing that, right? YouTube always. Don't click off. We need the watch time, you know? Check the messages while you're at work. Browse nonsense while you're at the toilet. Let nothing be sacred, right? This is such a problem with modern day society, is that there is no nuance. There is no unknown anymore. We have whatever we want whenever we want it. If you saw my ChatGPT fucking searches, you'd think I'm a schizophrenic, because there's nothing that's sacred or nothing that can't be known. So now it's almost like if we have a niggling in our brain that we know that we should probably work out, even ChatGPT gives us the answers within seconds. Like, oh, I wonder what a whale shark, look, what's the size of a whale shark next to a rhinoceros? And if they were both together, how close would they be to a plane? See what I fucking mean? Like, why does this matter? Why does that noise matter? Why is that noise occupying your mind first thing in the morning? So the goal here to get depressed is noise dependency. Train your brain to hate silence. You don't want to be by yourself. Don't make peace with your own thoughts. That would be good for you. So turn your thoughts into your own strangers. If you ever catch yourself sitting still, open up a new tab, hit refresh. Someone else is out there saying something that you don't care about. There might be a sports team that's doing better than yours. You better start fucking fighting. So the result of this, your mind will never get reset. Your thoughts will become foggy. You forget what to focus on. You get distracted. Everything feels urgent. Nothing feels important. And that's perfect because you can hear yourself think. You can't hear yourself think, which is what we want here because it's the blueprint for fighting depression. You can't build anything that's worth living for. You can't meet your own standards. You can't hear guilt. You drown it all in dopamine. Over time, you forget what presence feels like. You can't ground yourself. You're not sitting in this room. So that's what we're searching for here. We want to continue to be unsatisfied and wanting more and more and more until we eventually can't take it anymore. And we're stuck in this fucking bubble. So flood your mind, starve your soul, repeat, go again, go again. So that's all of this stuff. So we want to avoid silence, and by that we want constant stimulation, we want phone dependency, we want multitasking, dividing your attention, we want effects that keep your mind foggy, urgency over importance, because everything has to be urgent. If you've ever opened up an email list after like being on leave for 3 or 4 weeks, and you see all of this urgent shit that like someone else had to deal with or hadn't been looked at until you got there, but it was that person's most important fucking thing of that day, that they thought they had to email you urgent, even though you're on leave, and you get back and realize that it's all still fine, this is all still here, there's no fucking issue, there's no fire in the office. That's what you want to do at 24/7 your life. It's a notification on your phone, you must answer it, right? Who knows what could happen if you do not answer that notification? That's exactly the fight or flight that we want to live in if we want to build depression. So, obviously, the solution to this one, which I've gone through a few of them, but I reckon we'll save the solutions till the end. But if you want to stay anxious, stay online all day. So after getting up and blasting your thoughts with whatever you want, continue that. But if you want clarity, unplug, just stop, give yourself a second to think. Get your mind back in your own hands. Leave your phone in the other room while you scroll. No screen for the first little bit of the morning. Say good morning to your loved ones. Listen to a fucking bird chirp. I don't know, that stuff's kind of important. Listen to the cars go through your neighborhood as you wake up. Whatever it is, just listen to your actual thoughts, your instincts, and your voice when you wake up. Because I think this is such a battle that the human mind currently fucking faces in this day and age. That if you could just wake up, here's one for you. If we can close our eyes for 10 seconds, right? Close our eyes for 10 seconds and we realize we're awake. I'm going to have to find the actual number to the study of this. Our relaxation drug in our gas in our mind increases by like 17% because we finally understand that there is actually no threat in all of this room right now. There is no threat other than what your mind is playing upon you. Nothing is a issue to your human bodily function, which is something we've evolved to want. So our fight or flight now takes off into this imaginary world where this kind of thing is like floating above us at all times. And like, this is the issue, this is the issue, this is the issue. If you put the phone away, you turn it off, there's nothing there. If you distract from this realm of storytelling, of this realm of things that happen up here outside of your human existence plane, the plane that like your body touches these kind of objects, the one that you're watching me with, the coffee that you're holding, whatever it is, if you can interact with this plane more than you can interact with the fucking ancient primal brain that's telling you what needs to worry, what's happening with the gods and all that kind of stuff, you can calm yourself down immensely. Your actual thoughts, because distraction's easy, but being present is fucking hard. So carve out silence when you can. So during my Hard 75, the first week I was getting up, actually how long am I in? I'm in 2 weeks. So my first 2 weeks I've gotten up at 6 a.m. every morning, still dark outside. I usually used to get up like an hour before work. Get up at 6 and I'd just go for a walk. I'd do 5Ks of a walk. As the sun's coming up, my feet are going underneath me, I can feel the cold air on me. Just how different that makes your day. If you can just recapture some moments where your feet are underneath your head, or your head is above your feet, metaphorically of course speaking, then you can continue to live a happy life. You can avoid the depression if you can just exist where your feet are. So, back on building this house of depression. We want comfort above all. So now that your mind is noisy, it's time to soften up your fat body. It's time to stop chasing meaning and start chasing ease. Because why the fuck would you go to the gym? That stuff hurts. So what we're doing here, we're skipping the workout, we're sleeping in, we're ordering in, we're sitting longer, we're moving less, we're avoiding friction like it's the disease. So make sure nothing feels earned, right? If you're gonna give a presentation, we're sitting down because my legs are starting to hurt after 10 minutes of speaking. If we're going to the gym, we're not walking if we could. We're going to do whatever the fuck it takes to get food delivered straight to our mouth while you scroll on TikTok. So make sure that you do not get any reward for your constant doing of nothing. If you feel stressed, don't train, don't write, don't read, don't self-soothe. Or rather, self-soothe with sugar, screens, soft things, dull the edges. Discipline might build up too much momentum, so we're going to kill that off. If any time you ever want to go and succeed in something, just give yourself the reasons, give yourself the evidence, because your brain's a pretty good fucking evidence finding machine. Give yourself the evidence that you shouldn't have to do that you might start the next day, or convince yourself that the right mood will come, or motivation will strike at one point, and then you might start on June the 1st as opposed to today. So keep your body weak. Choose numbness over effort, and let every day blend into the next with the same habits. We're waking up, we're scrolling, we're snacking, we're eating, we're escaping, we're playing video games, we're relaxing for our mental health, for our self-care, but what it really is fucking rotting in the one place with a smile. That type 1 fun, the fun today that doesn't matter if it's okay tomorrow, because I don't know if I'll be here tomorrow, so we're just working on today. So here's the beauty. The more comfort you chase, the more meaningless it feels, till eventually, even pleasure starts to taste like ash. Because you removed all the challenge, and with it all purpose, you've created a cage with velvet walls, soft pattern, and fucking silent. And you locked yourself in there. So that's step 3. We're going to keep going. We're going to build on this avoidance of pain and dodging challenge, because the human male needs to be challenged. So step aside from that. We don't want to face that. Avoid anything that makes you uncomfortable, not just physically, emotionally, spiritually, anything that brings anxiety. Because why would you want that? Anything that's anxious is potential substitute for anything that's exciting. Anything that you're anxious about is potentially something that's new, challenging, exciting, stepping into a new realm. So don't have it. If you're worried about the gym, worried about looking stupid, just stay home. If you're thinking about writing down your thoughts, writing on your newsletter, whatever it may be, then don't. Because that might be a bit too, you might be building momentum with that. So discomfort equals danger. Like I said, if we can ground ourselves here, and there's danger with us because we can't seem to disconnect, and then you convince yourself that hard is harmful. And we shouldn't do that. So if it's something that's scary, call it a trauma, call it toxic. If it stretches you, it's not good for your mental health. You can't do this right now. If it's something that makes you if it's something that makes you sweat, call it unsustainable. This is how you train your mind to equate growth with a threat. That's what we want here. We don't want to grow, so we want to continue to die. Because if you're not growing, if you're not going up, you're going down, right? Stock market doesn't go exactly zero the entire way. Pardon me. So what next? Stop trying, opt out of life, stay in your lane, in your bed, in your bubble. Why would you want to do more? Every time you do it, your confidence takes a hit. You don't believe in yourself because you never give yourself the chance to win. That's what we're doing. We're eliminating as many lottery tickets as we can by staying in bed and not achieving. Because in this day and age, it's too easy. Too easy to have a lottery ticket. You could post something online and then tomorrow be the biggest person in the world. You could start going to the gym today and in 12 months be the best looking body out of your friends group. So if we don't start today, if we don't start cashing in lottery tickets or buying lottery tickets, then we can never cash them in 12 months. Because that would be, 12 months is too far away. That's too hard. I can't build enough momentum for that. I'd rather just stay in comfort today, and I'd rather do anything that makes me feel happy today as opposed to protecting myself in 1 year. I'd rather the $1 now than the compounding effect of it being worth $1 billion in a month. So build your life so safe that it suffocates you. That's how we're doing it. So there's the kicker. The more pain you avoid, the smaller your world becomes until one day you mistake safety for purpose. So step 6. This is one that I'm going to harp on a fair bit about, and we're halfway through, folks. So if you're still here, drop a like, because that's fucking good effort. So measure yourself by everyone else. This is one that I am still very capable of. And like I said in the start of the video, I've got an enviable life. If I'd looked 10 years ago about who I am today, I'd be fucking stoked. So let's not do that, because there's always someone better than us. So we can potentially find someone better than us to bring ourselves down, right? So we're waking up, we're scrolling, we're seeing Alex Eubanks shredded out of his fucking mind. We're seeing travel influencers in Greece. We're seeing the Anuha brothers that just got locked up buying penthouses and Dubai villas and Lambos, because that's the stuff that we really want. We want all those things that they've got. We don't want what we've got, because what we've got isn't enough. We need to keep going. We can't settle for gratitude. That's not allowed in this blueprint of depression. So don't question it. Just absorb it. Believe it's real. Let it sting. Why does that 20-year-old kid have a Lambo but I don't? Let it sting. Turn it inwards. Why am I not there yet? What's wrong with me? How did I not make it? How did he do it and I didn't? He must be drug dealing. He must be doing this. He must be doing that. Whatever you can think of, how did I not do it? So don't notice that you're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. Don't ask what they sacrificed or what the real fucking story is. Don't ask them about the 900 podcast episodes until they finally were an overnight success. Just think how they were lucky enough to jump the gap, how they could do it, how they were so fucking fortunate that they just so happened to have it. Oh, he could do this because he had that. He's lucky for this reason. So then judge yourself harshly. So he still has all those things. No matter what excuses you make for you not being able to do them, judge yourself, because you're not him. Use your phone like a microscope for your insecurities, right? If someone gets a promotion, that means you're falling behind. If someone else is happy, that means you must have lost. If someone else is rich, they took money from you. If they're thriving, then it's because you're not even trying. And over time, if you think about this long enough, because your life now feels measured by how far behind you are, not where you're actually going, the result leave you making real progress. But you'll never feel it, because you're too busy watching someone else's scoreboard in a game you weren't meant to play by yourself. So this is kind of a little segue. We'll take a segue here on defining your own goals and defining your own happiness here. So solution to this shit is we're all playing a different game. I'm potentially still chasing the monetary success because I feel like I don't have enough of it. That might be a burden that I fucking continue to carry on, because I remember when I said, when I buy my first house, I'll be content and I'll just live with it. Or when I bought the investment property, oh, now I've got 2 and the tenants are sort of making me money, so I might just use that passive income for the car that I want or the thing that I want today. And when I bought the 3rd, when I made fucking 20 grand on the crypto Trump coin, oh yeah, I'll just buy the Rolex or whatever it is now. Never did it because I still continue to be scared because I hadn't made enough. There is no dollar figure that will make me feel like I've made enough that I can then be happy. And this is kind of the problem with people, especially that watch videos like this one on YouTube, where we lambast ourselves so heavily and compare ourselves as a superiority ego against those beneath us that they aren't doing it right? So how many times do you see on YouTube these kids saying, oh, these brokies, these flip the hamburgers, all this shit, using the R word, retard, it's back, using all these words about those that are beneath them, but then like lambasting them against standards that we should hold ourselves to, that we don't, that we fail to, because we see these guys living in a certain fucking standard. I'll eventually write that down so I can really articulate what I'm trying to say here. But I feel like if we can chip on our shoulder and hate those people beneath for long enough, then eventually you start to become what you despise because you don't hit anything higher. And you can never satisfied with your success if you can't stop comparing yourself to others. Because like I said, there was no way I ever finished uni in my life. In high school, I was a fucking idiot. There was no chance I ever saw myself becoming a lawyer and going on to doing this. I said to my parents, you said, I want to drop out and be a PT. My stepdad looked at me and said, what the fuck is your problem? What the fuck are you doing? Someone as smart as you are, what the fuck are you doing? And since then, I've sort of worked on that standard that I need to hold myself harder and harder and harder. There's a couple of decisions that I almost made along my career, like I nearly quit law to go work at Sportsbet. All these like small little side things that I almost let my standards down and wanted to do that. So the fact that I continued at these higher standards, it was never that success was perfection or success is what I wanted. It was the bare minimum, and therefore I'm miserable whenever I do not meet my own standards and my own bare minimum, because my bare minimum is seeing what someone else has protruded and achieved and gone on to do. It's the $50,000 Rolex. Mine's only $10,000. Fuck. So I've got to get that. And then when I hit their standards, I'll still continue to compare myself by those that have more. And that's why you can never enjoy what you have and show gratitude for what you have. And that's all in this fucking point. Stop measuring yourself by everyone else. I've got 624 subscribers. If I'm comparing myself to, I don't fucking know who's in this niche. Dan Coe, I saw today. I don't know how many he's got these days. Maybe over 1 million. If I can continue to compare myself to him, I will never acknowledge any of the success that I've had along the way. And if you're playing this game that's either you have 0 followers and you're a failure, or 1 million and you're a winner, if you hit 500,000, you won't feel like you've made it. There's a big possibility that you hit 750,000 and then it's time to quit because you've made so much money, but you didn't hit this random undetermined output goal. You did all the inputs to achieve the exact same result. In fact, I've done the exact same. No, I haven't, because I haven't done enough videos and they're not high enough quality. I've put enough effort to maybe have 1,000, but someone else has it. So I've done what they've done. Don't lambaste yourself for the output not being able to be the same. Pardon me. Back on this blueprint. Oh, that didn't sound too weird. If you're serious about building depression, here is the critical update. Pull away from people. Don't make a big scene about it. Just stop replying, stop attending, reply later. If you're getting invited, say, I'm too tired, I'm too busy, don't respond. That's a great one. I've been culpable of that one very recently. And slowly you'll notice something strange. It gets easier. You stop getting invited. You love your own company. They won't understand you anyway. It's easier to believe you're a burden. So what's the point? Why would you go to those people? Why would you spend it with relationships? Why would you continue to want more, right? Sure, some part of you wants connection, but you're training yourself to mistrust it. You can't trust them, they're no good for you. You convince yourself that being alone is safer, less risky, less judgmental, less effort. But it's a trick because surface solitude without peace, without purpose isn't peace. So we're going to run off this sheet again. We're going to make a segue, right? Because I'm someone that's moved around a lot in life. I think I worked it out to be like when I was 30, I'd lived in like 32 homes or something between both my parents. Different cities, different states, different suburbs, different houses, and even the same suburb. Lived in the same street once, in a different house. Someone that is okay with chaos, but also could quickly see that when you disconnect from someone else's life, how quickly it doesn't matter anymore. So if you've had a long friend for a long time, potentially coming out of high school, and then a friend starts to fall apart, and you see how it doesn't matter. Well, I sort of lived the experience where you're going great, you've been there for 2-3 years, and then you're ripped out. Then you go to another friends group, and then those friends are never spoken to again in your life. So I've been very good at isolating myself. And this is one of the biggest flaws of where I'm trying to be in the relationships that I have and trying to be happy, is if I want to continue down this path and make myself depressed, I feel like this one could really be the fucking 4 walls around this blueprint of the house. This could be the big one because it's all about relationships. It's all about sharing your successes with those around you that want your success. And most people do, so long as you bring them along with you for the journey, show interest in them, care for them. So the goal of this whole channel is to build relationships. So whilst I say I want to talk to 100 men before the end of the year, my outlandish goal is to meet 100 new clients, men, and work through some issues with them. It's about the building of the relationships in those that work more than any of the words that are ever said. It's about understanding that someone else is there for you, someone else wants to see you win. And again, most people do, so long as you're honest and genuine and bring them along for the journey. Now, if you're not there the whole way, or if your winning is in their expense, or you're a fair weather friend, or you're someone that could take a better option if it comes along, if 2 friends groups are going out but you think this one's cooler and you start going to that one, you're a dickhead. That's going to cause problems for you. But the building of relationships is all that matters at the end of the day. When you're 30 or 40 and you've got your 2 kids and your partner, the only thing that matters is your close-knit relationships. I know that it's super hard as a young dude to understand because you sort of meet a girl, you leave all your friends alone, you're hanging out with your girlfriend all the time, you break up, and then you're like, whoa, where the fuck do I go? Where are my boys? Your boys are like, what the fuck? You've not given us anything from your end. You need to be the one to reply and to rock up and go when you don't want to, because the maintaining of a friendship is the same as a relationship. It requires just as much effort. It's just as hard, but you need to do it. It's honestly the biggest point of all these. If you take nothing else away from this video, just be the person that reaches out to their friend. If you've got a long drive or a long commute, message that friend you haven't spoken to in a while. Keep a connection just there. It might never eventuate to hanging out or being friends or having coffee, but just to know that there are people in your corner, or people that, here's one for you. On this journey, I'm still a bit self-conscious about posting on Instagram or TikTok because they more virality. People can sort of see like people you know, and they can see that it's me making these videos, me being more serious about myself than I potentially am in the gym or I am in my public life. I'm a bit more of a joker as opposed to serious, thinking about my thoughts and journaling. This is a different side of me that the world doesn't see. Long story short, there are a couple of blokes that I've met on this journey that I genuinely know want to see me fucking do well. That when I post, they will be the first to comment for the algorithm. They'll boost it up. They'll congratulate me. They'll say what's good. They'll say critique what's needed. All because of these relationships that you've helped, or that I've helped in this instance, cultivate and keep going. Because if you can get enough of those dudes, then you can ignore the 7.5 billion that are going to hate you anyway. So if you can just get this close-knit circle that can continue to push you along until you can gain a bigger influence, and by influence I mean friendship or group or whatever you're endeavoring to achieve, until you can build that bigger, keep these knit friends closer and build on it. When you meet people, be genuinely interested, genuinely care for them. Put as much effort into it as you can, because that's the most important thing. That's what, if all of this, if you can just work on relationships, you will be A-okay. Sorry, man, I've got a worse cough. Eat like it doesn't matter. This is one that's quite big. And I'm someone that's always been quite fit. There's some videos or some photos of me where I'm quite large after my first child, because it's easy to throw it away once you become a dad, but we'll get into that in another video. If you want to fast track this whole spiral, forget that food is fuel. Food is good. Food is fuel. Skip breakfast, skip lunch, have Uber Eats, ultra processed crap, sugar, fat, cake. Again, keep that comfort in, keep numbing the brain, convince yourself that you're too tired to cook, you're too busy to care. Where the fuck could I find the time to cook a healthy meal? You want blood sugar to go up, down, tank. Your mood dips, your gut fucking, your brain fog, it gets wrecked. But ignore that. Just say to yourself, it's just a snack. It's another Kinder Bueno. I fucking love those. Never notice a pattern. Connect the dots between you and what you're feeling and how you're eating. So, I went through a bulk over the last 6 months. This is the biggest I've ever fucking been. I'm a fucking tank, man. I'm fucking huge. This is the biggest I've ever weighed. I got to about 75 kgs. I started this journey at about 62. Slow, 6 months, probably ate way too many calories. I've probably blown it out of proportion here. But I can tell you quickly how shit dirty bulking can make you feel. So my excuse for my first ever bulk was, if it's got calories, a bit of protein, I'll eat it. So I've probably more indulged in good, bad food, good high calorie food for you. And still in that, just the putting on of weight, the clothes feeling tighter, the fucking nicking where it shouldn't, just that inconfidence, lack of confidence to go out, take your shirt off, be seen, even like turn or lean or anything. Like, how embarrassing would it be if you lifted your shirt up and your belly fell out over? More on top of just the fact that it's your fuel and that it can determine your gut and mind health, the confidence you have in putting on the weight and not looking after yourself and not caring, because it gives the appearance to others that you do not care. And why should they care about you if you can't look after your own body temple? If this is a temple, then you want others to look after it, you will too. In the 80s, the Colosseum in Italy was run down. They didn't care for it. Think of that. Think of the Colosseum in Italy. No one gave a flying fuck until the movie The Gladiator came out. And then all of a sudden it became this valuable thing that the Italians wanted for tourism. Before that, it used to apparently be like homeless would sleep in there, that you'd drive your cars in, you'd chip off rocks, you'd take it all. No one gave a flying fuck about it. So those that went would continue. There was graffiti on it. They didn't care. Now all that's happened is the Italians have showed value in it. The Italians are like, whoa, this could be really good for us. It could help bring tourism. It could bring us value. It could drive jobs. It could do all this. The rest of the world started to fucking take notice. So stop having those bad days. Stop the cravings. Stop telling yourself it's just a fucking snack. Notice the pattern of what you're doing. Notice that you're escaping from whatever else you can. Lie to yourself. The final step here. This is the masterstroke, right? Because you really want to lock in. You're going to lock into this depressive state. So don't just feel bad. Deny it. Tell yourself you're fine. Laugh it off. Don't care. You're a man. Push through it. Never sit with pain. Fucking pull yourself up by the bootstraps. But and when it all bubbles back, we're just going to scroll, snack, repeat, video game, corn, whatever the fuck we want. Make distractions your medicine. We're going to ignore that we're starting to fall down this pattern. We're just going to continue powering through, right? Like I said at the start of the video, we're just going to ignore it all the way until we're stuck at this point. We're going to ignore our little bit of fat gain until we hit 80 or 90 kilos, and then we're going to start to care for it. Sorry, my phone just dinged. Shouldn't look at it. Distractions. See? Fucking distractions. No one else will notice because you're smiling. You're happy. You don't have to tell anyone. And this is, on a more serious note, this is the crux of my business model here. So, pull yourselves up by the bootstraps is an old, outdated fucking method. I know that this red pill taking off still tells us to do it. And to a certain degree, the antithesis of all these points that we're going to get to are seeking challenge, doing more, working harder. And those are all mind shift changes. But it's really hard to see yourself getting down the path of needing to do those changes. And this is where you need to fucking ask for help. You need to notice that you're not doing well. You need to notice that, oh, my screen time is up a fair bit. Oh, I've played an extra 6 hours of League of Legends today. what the fuck is really going on? What is this flatness that's kind of hit me? And if you're at that point and don't believe that it's serious yet, but it's sort of getting there, that's where a counselor or someone like myself can step in, talk to you, build relationships, get you started, send off a challenge. I've got a newsletter where I sort of talk about how do we get through these things. I want to release something called 30 in 30, where I send you 30 days of emails to get you kick-started, to just curve that. So if we're heading down, we're just going to curve it, right? We're just going to start to regain the feet under our head and start to think about it a bit more. Because I think all of this is grounded in just intentionality. If we can understand what we want to do and know that we're heading down bad paths, or we're probably doing the wrong thing, or we're probably having too much fun for today and not enough for our future selves, we can all go through this. Because like I said at the start of this video, this achieving happiness is an intangible goal. There are all these things, right, that we'll get to in the final point. All these things that you can do that can build a smile on your head. So listen to a podcast today, a dude that I really fucking want to learn more about, Daniel Presley. He talks about type 1 fun and type 2 fun. So I'm going to steal from him real quick if you haven't seen him talk about this. Type 1 fun is the fun today. Type 2 fun is the fun that in 12 months time you look back and be like, that was really fucking fun. It might be like, well, I figured out how to OBS and this is a different mic than normal. Just these little small things that you ticker and tacker away at, and then you look back and you have fun at. Because, oh, I worked it out. That was pretty cool. It might not fucking mean anything in the grand scheme of things. Who fucking cares if I use this mic or the mic from the Mac? But it was cool that I could work that out. Crypto, for me, I'll use as a perfect type 1, type 2 fun. The gambling in it is a type 1 fun, which can be good, can be great. It's probably a bit of a detriment for the type 2 fun that you might want to achieve something and compound on it later on, but meme coins are fucking fun, right? That's the here and now today. Chances are you're going to lose money. There's probably a consequence to type 1 fun. It's fun today at the expense of potentially the fun tomorrow. Type 2 fun is the fun that you look back on, you delay your gratification, you finally hit this, and you're at the point where you can cash in and accept that you've done well, accept that you've won, look back in the past and be like, yep, this was pretty cool. I did what I set out to achieve. So the understanding of cryptos, the reviewing and reading white papers and understanding is the fun. You look back and like, that was pretty cool. I can work that out. I can tell people about that. I think that's fun. There's no fucking fun in sitting there and doing research. When you look back and you sort of think about how you were able to achieve the thing, that's the type 2 fun. So there's a constant balance that you need to fucking seek between the two, because half of these you might notice that it's type 2 fun that we're trying to avoid, and it's type 1 fun. So the avoiding pain, the scrolling today, we're trying to more get us in a mindset of achieving type 2 fun. So if we don't scroll today, but instead we use that time to read or write or get out or create instead of consume, well then the type 2 us will look back eventually and be like, it was that moment or it was that little moving of the needle that allowed me to look back or continue on this journey. And there might be times where you cannot do type 2 fun. If you need to build a relationship, there's potential need to have type 1 fun. This is about balance, and I know that there's no nuance in all of that shit, and you could have maybe saved, I don't know how fucking long this is going for, if you just live with more balance, right? So we spoke about defining happiness. It can probably be broken down into like 100 little things that if you did all these in a day and you ticked it off, you would probably say that you are a happy person. And that's not to smile, and that's not to say that you won't be unhappy about some things. That's not to say you won't be stressed. It's a continuum that you fluctuate. Happiness is fleeting, like the other emotions are. You might be angry at something and then over it the next day. So a couple of tangible things that I've done is to wake up on time. I'm drinking water before I'm drinking my coffee. I'm taking walks without my phone. I'm training. I'm eating real food. Like, even to just cook a real steak and eat a real steak, like, the fact that you've gone and made it and think it's cool that you've done it is enough for it to be type 2 fun, that you look back and be like, hey, I cooked a steak tonight. That was pretty cool. Like, the fact that you learnt how to do the thing and cook it well enough, message a friend even when you don't fucking feel like it. This is a big one for me, right? And don't expect fireworks, because it's just because you do the next thing right It's not about momentum. It's about It's not about motivation. It's about momentum. Sorry. You don't need to fix your whole life in a week, but we just need to kickstart. We need to plateau the down spiral out. It's not glamorous. It looks like discipline. It's like silence, like doing the hard things when no one's watching, because you built this cage, and you can do the opposite. So I'll leave you on a weight loss journey analogy here, which, holy shit, I've been talking for 45 minutes. I'll leave you on a weight loss journey here. Let's make myself a bit bigger, hey? Is that what I look like? Wow, Jesus, I need to clean myself up. When I went to Greece a couple of years ago, I was on a heavy fucking cut. For the first time ever, was like, I'm gonna have a six pack. I'm gonna go to Greece, I'm gonna tan, I'm gonna have a six pack. We're gonna be ready to fucking go. I got there, I did. But I worked from January till August. Potentially, I don't know, I can't think back if there were some months where I didn't quite put in 100% or not. But I continued to show up, and I rocked up in August with that six pack. But I can tell you that it wasn't up until about July-ish, about a month out, that I noticed all that work come through. So 6 months of nothing. It's kind of like I said, how I feel now. It's been 6 months. If you look at, I'm not gonna take my fucking shirt off, I'm a loser. If I take my shirt off, you see that I wouldn't even look like that I lift. But in 3-4 months time, once you just get past that last little hurdle, once you go the last mile that no one else could keep up with you with, is the only time you'll notice a change. That's the fucking tough part about most of these journeys, where it's little increments or little 1%ers that'll keep us going. It's the 1%ers that add up over time that eventually fucking get there. James Clear, I'll steal from him real quick. If a plane takes off from New York heading to LA and is 1 degree off, well, then you're getting to San Francisco. And that's a big fucking difference. If you had to drive that, you probably fucking wouldn't. Or you wouldn't walk it, that's for sure. It's a big fucking distance. And this is sort of what we're trying to do here, about 1%, 1%, 1%. And then it gets there. So I spoke about this the other day. I can now say, I own this home. I've got 2 wonderful kids. I've got a fucking smoking wife out there. I've got all these things. I've got a body that I'm comfortable with. I've got to work on my fucking eyes. I've got all these things that I can now happily say, but they were seeds that were sown 12 years ago when I left school and I took a couple of paths. I took a couple of left or rights that I didn't know which ones I should take. They could have went astronomically different ways. Here's a butterfly effect of meeting my wife. Booked a flight to the United States. I was in Sydney for 3 nights staying with a friend. She just so happened to be on a dating app in the suburb that I was in, even though she lived on the other side of Sydney, so things would have never met in. I swiped right at night time. The next morning I went and took a shit. I don't use Tinder. I probably plan on having it for the United States. I went the next morning to take a shit, and I was like, oh, I better just check it. I had no intention. I was leaving the next day. She was one of the people that swiped right. Spoke to her. It just so happened that she was back in the area again, and it kicked off from there. These are all 1%ers, but to even take it further back, to be able to go on that United States trip, I had to start working full time. I had to then get into the law firm that I did. To do that, I had to fucking go to law school. To do that, I had to finish year 12. To do that, I had to not drop out in year 10. See what I mean? Like these 1%ers that eventually get you to where you want to be. And now I'm in this house because of 12 years of 1%ers. You can fall on days. It's not about every single day. Consistency isn't 100% every fucking day. It's about lots of little efforts as much as you can. 100% today at me for the gym was nowhere near my best. I'm fucking tired. I had a late night last night. Nowhere near my best. But I still went. I still continued. We have 100% today, which might have been 40% of my best day. But I continued to rock up, because the final note that I'll leave you guys with is rock up on days that you don't want to, for days that you can't. Because there will be shit, there will be life, there will be things that get in the way that cause these problems. But so long as you put in the work when you were flying, when you're, what's the opposite of flying? When you're down in the dumps, when you're in that fucking valley, it won't feel as shit, because you know you front loaded the gratification. You front loaded, oh, I'm going on holiday in 2 weeks time. I'm doing all the work I need to now so I can take guilt-free time then. So when you're down in the dumps, It's guilt-free because you're allowed to have those times as well. Peace. Fuck me, I'm going to need to finish my smoothie and post this video. Catch you guys.